Hello. Yikes. Always tune your ukulele before pushing start. I am in Indiana still. It's a beautiful thing to teach virtually because I know so many beautiful, loving people who have a quiet place I can teach from. And in this case, it's my boyfriend's parents in southern Indiana. And so because of that, I can, spend mornings and weekends in other places sometimes. And it's one of the greatest gifts of my lifetime, really. The realization that I was already teaching some students virtually, mainly my mom and my niece. But it's really grown, teaching virtually since the pandemic, and in my case, that's been the biggest, strangest blessing of my adult work lifetime. To be able to sit here at the beautiful CVS parking lot view in southern Indiana, giving you a little view of a Papa John's poking over the hedges off of Indiana 46, heading west. I don't know if I'll have time to go there tomorrow. If I were to stay on that road, I'd go to Bloomington. I just rewatched a video that's essentially a podcast or a vlogcast or whatever they call it. Vodcast, yeah. It's like 46 minutes of me rambling. I think it's episode 856. Rambling while I drive back from Bloomington back to Columbus, Indiana. Bloomington being a big college town, but nestled and small and beautiful. Going through a little town called Nashville, which is kind of like a tourist town, which I haven't seen yet. Maybe I'll see it tomorrow. I don't want to feel hurried when I'm here, like I have to see things, because hopefully my boyfriend's parents will live here a long time, and then I can come down once a month, once every other month, get a chance to see them. I don't know if that'll work with Brian's schedule. It's a little harder for him to work from out of town. He's got to get approval. No one likes having to ask for approval for things. That's why working for yourself can be great. There's no benefits except for the giant, absolutely ginormous benefit of no one's in charge of me. No one's the boss of me. I mean, you could say all my students and all my students' parents are, whoever's paying for me is kind of the boss of me, but I like having those people as the boss of me because I just created a business model that reflects that. As in, you get these 30 minutes, you get this 45 minutes, this is your time. Tell me what you want to learn today. Tell me that you didn't practice, and I'll say, okay. Why would I waste my emotional energy getting mad at you? If you didn't practice, you didn't practice. Do you need a new route, a change in direction? Do you need some other form of inspiration in order to feel inspired enough to practice? Are you being down on yourself? Do you need a pep talk? What do you need from me? That time is yours. You're the one paying me. So those are my bosses. But I have the kindest bosses, because everyone who chooses me, or someone like me, is choosing kind of softness, and that fits my natural nature. I'm not going to imitate my piano teacher. My piano teacher was strict, and I remember the tone of voice she used to get when she was upset and disappointed in us. It was like a kind of yearning, like, you're not going to make it, you're not going to get there, you're not going to become the thing. Well, see, here's the difference in me. I already know that the thing is a lie. I already know that 1 out of a million gets to be some touring classical pianist or some famous Yeruma type new age composer. 1 in a million gets to be like a Beyonce or a Regina Spektor or a Pink Floyd if you want to be in a band. That's 1 in a million. And you know what the other 999,000 do? They do smaller or louder versions of this. Make a YouTube channel, play songs at their coffee shop, write songs for their friends, for their mom, be themselves. It's okay. This isn't really a career path, but it actually never was. We just get kind of fed it in school because it's important to learn the arts because it helps you get smart. But is this the right kind of smart? Well, I still think so. I think learning an instrument, especially learning out of lesson books, is like learning a language. It's like learning Latin. It's like learning all kinds of things that make you a more well-rounded person who understands history, who understands the ways that people used to spend their time, that people used to feel their time. I mean, imagine the old days when there were no smartphones, there were no dance videos, there was a big lacking, gaping hole of no entertainment, and you had to make your own entertainment, and you had to make your own fun, and you wanted it to be kind of forward moving with a sort of forward momentum, like the feeling of learning an instrument, or the feeling of creating something, creating worlds, creating a huge symphony that has a thing that you wake up to every day and you just feel like I'm in the middle of a ginormous project. I used to feel that way with the first musical I wrote when I was a junior and senior in college, and that musical was just always there waiting for me to crack open that binder and work on it. It's a good feeling. And that's what we did before smartphones. We would just create humongous projects. When I was like in 3rd grade, maybe 4th, I'd buy an old notebook. Well, it wasn't old, it became old, and I would draw 50 girls and give them all different outfits and label them with different states. It was like a beauty pageant, but it was goofier, I think. I think I gave them goofy, stereotypical type outfits. I have no idea what I did. I drew different hairstyles, which is ironic and hilarious because I'm the least into fashion person I know. I don't even remember to put on makeup before I make these. I was going to say I don't even like makeup. I do like makeup. I just don't think of it. I still feel like there's a day in my future that'll be like my past, where I used to wear a little black dress and get all dolled up and cute and go to a dance. I still feel like those days are ahead. They're not just behind, but I don't know. I don't really like working out. Not that you have to work out to wear a little black dress, but that's how I enjoyed it, was feeling like my most in shape self. It made me feel really good about myself. Although eating disorders are weird, I still also could be at my absolute best shape and still be unwilling to put on a swimsuit in public, and it's crazy. The ways we can scrutinize the tiniest details of ourselves, down to like, oh, I have one tiny red bump on my thigh, I can't wear a swimsuit. Like, what are you talking about? That's insane. But we're all doing it. Well, hopefully a lot of people aren't doing it. I feel like we're getting over these disorders collectively as a society. It's like a societal rewrite, a reset. I know there's a thing about a reset, but it is kind of true. If you look around at the world, like, different things are being valued now. You don't have to be the skinniest or the youngest. Like, maybe someone like me can be useful in the world, even though I'm already 42, almost 43. There was a part of me that used to think by the time you hit your mid-30s, you're kind of done. So I was kind of dragging it out by having a younger boyfriend and still being part of the music scene. And I was kind of dragging out my inevitable failure, or my hoped for my hope for sudden success. I was dragging it out even though we all knew what was coming. And I have a really depressing song about that at the end of the 365 songs. It was originally called Birds Ascending, but I changed it to Made of Ash. And there's a line in there that says, I'm like a phoenix rising, but still made of ash, and it's uncomfortable at best. You may think this is the dream. Where you choose to be you, no matter who's listening, but I can prove it still feels like sinking, or maybe more like if sinking meets dancing or flying in the air. Just grew wings I've never played that on ukulele before, but it was a song about failing and how I genuinely never saw myself on a long, slow march to failure. Never did. I always thought that I was living out some big success story, kind of like, what's her name? Katie Tunstall. I always saw that, like, 10 years of busking in Scotland, and then she made it big. Or Regina Spektor, who had, I think, 5 albums, and then she got signed to a major label. I always thought that was the story my life was telling. And I'm not saying it's not. I don't want to be a person who's sure of the opposite reality either. I just don't think it's very likely. But then again, who knows what the world needs? What I've had to do is realize that I've been preoccupied with the externals of success, like being able to say I was famous versus just actually doing the work of whichever path is actually a better fit for me. And so far, you can tell from my YouTube that I'm so free-spirited and so myself that conventional success, like being signed and owned by a company and having them dictate your schedule and how you tour and what you do and how you sell merch and what it looks like and tell you, no, you can't have an album that doesn't have you on the cover. Like when I'm having to one of my friends, you have to put yourself on the cover, not just art. Like, I can't imagine being dictated in that way. And that's even just with a mid-size indie label that happened to someone I know. Like, I can't imagine climbing up, ending up at some top, and then hating it there. Like, that's depressing. I feel like I've been saved from that. Because here I am in southern Indiana making up my own reality, making up my own story, making up my own way of doing music. Like, I didn't mean to practice that song Made of Ash on ukulele, but now I'm kind of inspired about that. I actually think it'll make a good ukulele song. And like, how meandering and weird of a journey is that? I don't really want some people in suits projecting the market and deciding what money leads to what money and how money can decide that I can money myself to money and then money myself and they can money me and we can all money. And then everyone will be happy. They won't be happy. They won't be happy. There's never enough money. Money's a number. You're going to just be mad then if you ever have to spend it to make more of it. Like, it's just money. It's just a number. It's power. It's control. But it will also control you. And I'm not controlled by that. I don't want to be controlled by that. In all the small ways I'm controlled by it, it's because we have to eat and we have to live and we have to be a person. But I try to follow the guidance, the divine guidance that I always feel. It floats and it flows in me like a tree grows in a forest. It is free and rooted at the same